So I know everybody's heard about the situation, and if you haven't heard about the situation, let me tell you the situation. Frank Warren has joined DAZN. Now, DAZN was actually going to try and buy out the whole lot of BT Sport, TNT, whatever they want to be called right now. They were trying to buy the whole thing. But that didn't happen. And it seems as though they've given Frank an offer and Frank has accepted the offer. Now, this is a far cry from when Eddie Hearn first went to DAZN. Now, you have proactive people and then you have reactive people. And it seems to be that Eddie Hearn is proactive while Frank is reactive. Because when this first came about and Eddie was going from Sky to DAZN, everybody else in boxing, including Frank, were calling DAZN just simply an app and you weren't going to get eyes on there and the exposure is going to be limited and it's going to fail.
It's no secret that Matchroom are going with DAZN for their British shows and their US shows, and I hope they do a better job than they did in the States, because the States, they've not built any big stars there or anything, and it's sort of, well, there's just no big names out there. I mean, they're going to find it a little bit difficult, although there's money there, and I don't know how much is 9 figures.
What kind of dance breed we are working with? Frank, you don't know about figure, you don't know about money. If 7 figure a million, then well, you're idiot, no? You're idiot. A big idiot. Obviously, you don't work with big money. You don't work with nothing past tens of millions.
I don't know. I was trying to work it out. I don't actually know.
I know what 7 figures. Look, I don't know how much money they got, but at the end of the day, what they won't have is Sky's marketing machine behind them. And that's been a big plus from Sky Sports. I know that because we were there, and I know how much it helped us. When I was doing pay-per-view shows on Sky, it's a formidable machine. That will not be happening anymore. DAZN, obviously, they've got in Solen behind them. Has got a lot of money. He's a very wealthy guy, but he's a businessman at the end of the day. But what they haven't got is the marketing machine. And can they hack it? Can they hack it? BT's now seems to me, does in 3 years has become a significant player in the boxing market here.
But now you're signing with DAZN instead of signing back with them. Okay then.
If what I'm reading in the paper is correct, they've not convinced Anthony Joshua to jump ship, leaving that pay-per-view platform for a subscriber channel.
And not only did Anthony Joshua sign some sort of golden handshakes deal with DAZN, he's actually starting to expand on their existing relationship, because AJ has deepened his partnership with DAZN by becoming a shareholder, special advisor and brand ambassador for the business. You understand? I don't know what going on for them, man, there. And I make money hand over fist while you, man, are just reacting now.
So we will see. We will see what happens.
Now, obviously, he's turned around 180. He's done a 180 on that type of talk, and now he's actually joined them. So we're going to see what's going to happen going forward from here. Now, the thing what I'm seeing is Eddie Hearn is a smart guy, He's a smart guy because, first of all, he was the first one to go to DAZN anyway. Plus, he was the first one to work with the Sheikh. These two things combined brings the Sheikh and DAZN together. Wealthy people hang with wealthy people. DAZN has got a very wealthy owner, and the Sheikh is very wealthy in himself, and they've now collaborated, and a lot of the Sheikh's shows, or most, if not all of the Sheikh's Riyadh season shows, will go on DAZN in some capacity. If it's not the whole of the world, it will be in regions where it's not in their schedule, so they will get it on their DAZN subscription. DAZN is very global. DAZN is in a lot of countries worldwide. And Eddie Hearn was the first to really exploit the situation by bringing his Matchroom boxing to DAZN and then signing a lot of fighters from all over the world, such as Eastern Europe, Australia, America, and obviously the UK, Japan, all these type of places. And Frank and everybody else in boxing was really talking DAZN down, talking about how much money they lost in turn, because DAZN entered boxing before Eddie did in the US, but then said we need the promoter, and they went and somehow acquired Eddie's services. So that's where we are with that. Frank Warren with Queensbury joining DAZN is going to be very lucrative and fruitful for boxing. So I'm saying to you, Eddie Hearn's very smart, because when he done the 5-on-5 and all his fighters lost, I'm sure he didn't go in there wanting all his fighters to lose, but I'm sure he had a very good inkling that a few of his fighters would lose, and maybe Frank would be more victorious than he is, therefore winning the thing outright. I knew that from when he made Deontay Wilder his secret captain all of a sudden. I was like, you know Deontay Wilder is going to get smacked up in his fight. So I don't know why you're making him, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make him your captain. You know he's getting smacked up. So for me, I think that was more of a sacrifice on Eddie Hearn's side, because Eddie Hearn is built for this type of situation where Frank, I don't believe he would have taken it as well if his fight, or if he was the loser in this situation, in the 5-on-5 event. If he was the loser, I don't think he would have taken it very well. Eddie Hearn losing all 5 fights, for me, he didn't use his best fighters in that 5-on-5. He used his C and D level fighters. Eddie Hearn has a very, very strong and illustrious stable of fighters, but not everyone that fights on Eddie Hearn's shows is actually signed to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, but there are a number of fighters signed to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. And even though it looks as though Frank Warren has the heavyweights at the moment, which he does, it doesn't look like it, he does. All the heavyweights at the moment are very B and C level fighters, in my opinion. This is why Eddie had the run of the mill at heavyweight before, you know. He had the run of the mill at heavyweight. He wanted to do this Frank Warren collaboration from years ago, 2016-17. Frank wanted nothing to do with it at all at the time. And when things have turned around where he has a lot of fighters that are at the upper echelon now, where I don't really think his fighters are at the upper echelon, to be fair, because let's just have it right. Tyson Fury isn't Frank Warren's fighter. Tyson Fury is signed to Bob Arum and Top Rank, with Frank Warren and Queensbury being his UK correspondent. That's why he can talk about he's got Tyson Fury. He doesn't. That is Bob Arum's fighter. Daniel Dubois, for me, is not a top level heavyweight, but he's the best of a bunch that are around now. Or is he even? Because we know Usyk is the best. And Usyk is the one that was signed to Matchroom at some point. And trust me, Eddie Hearn is very much involved. I can see a world where Eddie Hearn is the lead promoter of all of boxing worldwide. And I'm going to do a video about that coming up soon. But for now, that's the news. It's not new news anymore, but I just wanted to touch on that. Frank Warren signing to DAZN, doing a complete 180 on his stance in previous years where he was just basically cussing out DAZN, saying it's just an app, and all of this stuff here. And now he's signed to them. He's taken his Queensbury promotions to DAZN. So now DAZN is going to corner boxing. They've got Eddie Hearn, they've got Golden Boy with Oscar De La Hoya, and now they have Queensbury with Frank Warren. And they have a lot of different small promoters in and around boxing, in and around the world, all over the world, smaller promotional companies that work under their banner now and show all their fights on DAZN. So DAZN is cornering boxing. And if certain promotional companies don't watch out, such as the PBC, they need to send their fighters over there. They need to bring their promotional company to DAZN. When they were going to leave Showtime and now have ended up on Amazon Prime, they were actually supposed to be negotiating with DAZN, and something fell through, so it didn't happen. But they need to get themselves over there, because this whole thing with Prime has limited them to only about 5, maybe 6 shows this year so far, maybe 7, if that. Where they have done over 30 shows in the past in a year. They're now reduced to like 5 and 6 and 7 because they just don't have the funds. Because Amazon isn't actually funding them. Amazon is just giving them the platform to use. They have to fund it. So we have to see what's going on with PBC and that. But for now, it's good to see Frank taking his Queensbury promotions over to DAZN. And I'll see you guys in the next video.